Hey, who doesn't like a cold beer every now and then? We all have our favorites. There's ales, stouts, lagers, porters. Now the latest craze is ready-to-drink cocktails and seltzers. How do you make sense of it all? Well, it's a good thing we have the gurus from Katcef Brothers to sort it all out. Sit back, relax, eavesdrop for a bit as we talk about the latest beers, seltzers, cocktails, and the best local events that need to be on your calendar. You ready? Let's get to it.
Well, we are here at Heroes Pub at 1 Riverview Avenue in West Annapolis for one of my favorite days of the year, and we are launching Military Bowl season. Joining us today are Josh Barr from the Military Bowl, Cassie Weithman, who is with Katcef Brothers and Budweiser. She's here all the time on our premiere podcasts. Joining us will be Susan Seifried, who is with Visit Annapolis, and also Matt Reese, who is the owner of Blk Ankr, and what I will say is the preeminent graphic design, t-shirt, any type of clothing outfit that you want in Annapolis.
The Military Bowl is coming again in person this year, unlike last year, on December 27th. Isn't that right, Josh?
Yeah, we're looking forward to it, John. It's been a long time coming.
Absolutely, and it's the day before my birthday, so you guys are throwing your parade and everything else, right?
Yep, we'll be there. Birthday, cake, parade, all in one.
Well, do we have any idea who's going to be playing?
Gosh, you know, it's, I mean, it sounds silly, but it's too early. Like, we're keeping an eye on things. I mean, obviously, there are a lot of good teams in the American Athletic Conference. Navy probably won't be coming to the Military Bowl this year, but, you know, I think if East Carolina would get 6 wins, they have 5 right now. I think that they'd be a pretty attractive team to us. They have a pretty passionate fan base. They have a lot of alumni in the area. You know, and once you get past them, you know, I think there's a lot of different teams in the mix. The ACC is such a jumble right now. It's hard to say. You know, I mean, obviously you look at like schools like Virginia Tech are both drivable, and you know, we're always happy to have either one of them. Syracuse has got 5 wins right now. They have a huge fan base in the DC area. BC is in the mix also. I mean, it's just so early. You know, it'll probably go down to the first week of December again.
Who's your dream teams? Your personal dream teams?
Well, my dream team is always Virginia Tech. We know this.
They've been here, done that. I've even got the sweatshirt from that one, Miss Cassie. So
yeah, I don't know their dream teams. I mean, obviously the goal for us is to have a great game, a great atmosphere, and a full stadium on game day. You know,
well, you've only missed that 1 year, and that was last year. Just because there wasn't a game, there wasn't an atmosphere.
Yeah, but you know, so we want schools with passionate fans. We want to have them here in Annapolis, in Washington, and you know, we're looking forward to it.
It is a fantastic experience for those that have not experienced whether just the entire week surrounding the game when it comes in. It's right after between Christmas and New Year's. Okay, we do have a parade which will be kicking off on the 27th, and I believe 9 a.m. down at City Dock. 10 a.m. at City Dock. We'll be featuring the Budweiser Clydesdales as they do pretty much every year.
They are back. We're very excited for that.
That will march up Main Street around some. There's some construction you dealt with a couple years ago, which is done, but down Route Boulevard out to the stadium. There will be a big tailgate at the stadium prior to the game, and it'll be aired on ESPN, right?
Yep. All the basics are still there. We're looking forward to it. The kickoff is at 2:30 this year, which lets us back the parade up a little bit till 10. So all the people who get down at the crack of dawn at 5:30 to see the Clydesdales dropping off, they'll be a little bit later than that this year. But it's amazing, John, when if the weather's decent and the sun's coming up over the water, and you have all these people start showing up before the sun comes up to see the Clydesdales arriving.
That's an amazing
and unload.
thing. That's worthwhile getting up at 5 a.m. or 6 a.m. And it always seems to be foggy that morning.
Foggy and quiet and just silent and just no sounds. And they'll be a little bit closer. They're staying now at Promised Landing Farm, which is really exciting, in Upper Marlboro.
No, I mean, we're looking forward to it. Yeah, I mean, that morning, for me, I know what's coming that day. I know the parade. I know we're going to have a couple thousand people downtown. We're going to have 30-some-odd-thousand people out at the stadium. And that's like, and Cassie's right, like, it's quiet for just that a few moments. And then people start showing up and they start going to stage for the parade.
The energy level goes higher. People are ready. They're getting their spots. They're, taking their pictures. And
well, we know how important it is for the guests, and guests, is that the right word? Fans, guests, parade goers, whatever to do, is for them. What about for the area from a business standpoint? And Susan, I think you'd probably be the best person to talk about that with the, you are the representative of the visitors of coming to Annapolis and Anne Arundel County. How important is the Military Bowl for?
Well, it's a great time of year to have an event of this magnitude come to our destination. Christmas, as you've all mentioned, that will just have happened. People are in town with their families. They're ready to enjoy. They didn't get to celebrate the holidays like they did last year, and I think a lot of people are looking for time with family and fun things to do, and so Annapolis is the perfect place for them to be, and it's a good time. I mean, I feel that Annapolis, of course, it's a beautiful city all year round, but never more beautiful than at Christmas time. It's like an old European town with the green garland and the red ribbons and the white lights strung from storefront to storefront to storefront, and so that's an appeal for all the people who are coming in. They're coming in for the game, but then they have an opportunity to enjoy the destination, to check out some restaurants, some old favorites, some new ones that opened last year, even during COVID, new attractions that opened even during COVID, new exhibits that are available at the State House and the Banneker Douglas Museum. And what that does for us is it brings individuals and helps the economy of the destination at a time that's typically a slower time of year for us.
Sure, I know. So we've got a couple months a year when we don't have the legislature in town, when we don't have the boat shows, we don't have the summer tourism thing, and this really is a huge boost. And I mean, do you know what the economic impact is? Do you happen to have that number, or a guest, or am I putting you on the spot here? She's shaking her head no.
Well, it's
no,
millions of dollars that comes in. If you have people staying at our hotels and eating at our restaurants and visiting our attractions and lingering longer, some people may stay here through New Year's, and they might go for a New Year's package because they didn't last year. Some people are returning to Annapolis. They're happy to see us again. Other people are just being introduced to us, and so what we're hoping is that they'll see what they see in December and make plans to come back in the spring and the fall and the summer.
Well, I think the folks that are traveling for the Military Bowl also have another option as far as hotels. I believe that the Lowe's/Graduate Hotel was offline in 2019. And so they would have been back with the Military Bowl because of COVID wasn't here last year. So we've got plenty of hotel rooms for everybody in the area.
Absolutely. And people who have been to the Graduate maybe this past year or haven't, they're going to see the Trophy Room, which is a really popular restaurant there now, and the Annapolis Waterfront Hotel. They went under renovations in 2020. So everybody's ready. Everybody's ready to embrace the fans who are coming in for the Military Bowl.
Well, fantastic, because I know that you guys have worked real hard over the years to make sure that the Military Bowl does stay here. I mean, it's a perfect town for it. I mean, we've got a stadium, we've got the infrastructure built for it, and we've got the Naval Academy. I mean, it's the Military Bowl. We've got the Naval Academy.
Visit Annapolis and Anne Arundel County is happy to be one of the sponsors. We're happy to support the event. We believe it's really great for the destination and everybody who loves Annapolis and Anne Arundel County and loves sports. Well,
we're absolutely glad to have you. I'm sure the Military Bowl is as well.
I think this year is going to be really special. Obviously, last year we weren't here, and every year is special for its own reasons. But I think this year especially, getting back in the groove of life and the holidays, and some of those holidays are going to be hard, really hard. But it's going to give an energy and another experience that is going to allow that hardness to be happy.
I was reading an article today that said that we're not out per se of COVID, but we've seen the worst of it, and it's getting better from here on out. And you're so right, Cassie. I think that you've got so many people that are just so cooped up. Okay, we need to get down. We need to let our hair down, so to speak.
And we need to smile.
We need to learn to put pants on when we leave the house in the morning. We need to learn how to say hello to people instead of ignoring them. Don't have to stay. Get away from that whole cross the street when you approach somebody else because we can't be within 6 feet. So it's going to be a wonderful reunion, if you will, for the Military Bowl. And let's talk to you a little bit, Cassie, about what's happening with the parade, because you're kind of somewhat working with the Military Bowl to sort of wrap up the parade. We've got the Clydesdales coming in. We do have them for an event the day before on Sunday in West Annapolis.
So it's 8 years? 8 years strong now? 9 years? 8 years, Who's Your Hero? 9 years Military Bowl partnership. So we've got the Clydesdales coming back again for another parade and another event in West Annapolis. So that will be year 3, year 4, Miracle on Annapolis Street. So they will be here the day before on December 26th. That is an 11 to 3 event, parading through West Annapolis. Come out the day before, park at Navy Stadium, get up close and personal, not too personal, but up close along the streets there, and see what West Annapolis has to offer. It is a part of Annapolis as well, and has a couple of new restaurants also. Some staples there, some art there, but we'll have our Budweiser trucks as well, featuring some of our canned cocktails and traditional Budweiser, of course. But yes, we're excited it's just a lot of energy right now.
Are the mayor and the county executives going to be following the horses again this year, scooping up the poop?
I do have to have a conversation with Gavin about maybe a Christmas with the Clydesdales visit on Christmas Eve, where he can get down and dirty with those horses again. Maybe scoop the poop during the parade, but they'll be alive and ready parade morning. And we'll also be hosting our heroes in the parade as well. So every year we do a wonderful program, which we haven't really gotten to yet. But John, I'll let you.
The reason that we are here at Heroes on 1 Riverview Avenue in West Annapolis is not for their fabulous wings, which I do insist everybody come to get, because I tried they've got like a honey
or the Reuben. I'm really excited for the Reuben.
Okay.
The Reuben is my favorite.
2 Reubens to 1 wings here, so but definitely come here, and they've got an incredible tap line as far as the amount of beers that you can have here, and it's just a wonderful community sponsor company that's always about community first. But the Who's Your Hero program has been going on for several years now, at least 6, and what Budweiser had come up with was to honor the heroes to tie in with the Military Bowl in everyday people's lives. We do know the heroes that we read about in the newspapers and the annals of war and all that kind of stuff, but there are plenty of other heroes, and this was a way to do it combined with the parade. And you're soliciting questions, or not questions, but stories about people that are heroes, right?
Yeah, so we want to know who is your hero and why. Share the story, share a picture, share a video, share the compassion you feel for that hero. I think COVID in itself developed even more of those heroes outside of the heroes that you were just speaking on, John. But it can be your husband, mother, brother, the cat down the street that saved your dog. It can be any of those stories. So we're excited to read them again, to share them with you all again, and to choose some winners to participate in the bowl.
Well, I'll tell you, it was funny when we were setting this podcast up. We were talking with Kurt and Lila, who are the owners of Heroes Pub here, and just asked them sort of about what their hero was, who their hero was, and they came back with a really fantastic answer. And we've got Matt Reese from Blk Ankr here with us to talk a little bit, because he was the one that was nominated as a hero, and we're going to have Matt join us and let him know what some of the businesses think about you here in town. Hey, Matt, welcome. It's good to see you again.
Thank you very
as
much
always. I think the last time we saw each other face to face, you were making like a dozen T-shirts for me, and
probably.
And that was it's the story of your life, right? Making T-shirts.
Several years ago, yeah.
But one of the things that Cassie had asked Kurt is is there somebody at Heroes that would be a hero, if it's somebody good to talk to? And without hesitation, they said Matt Reese. And Cassie, why was that?
So every year they choose a different hero that they would like to honor, as does some of the other local restaurants that partner with us as well. So they tell us their story, why they want this person to be recognized. We put the story in the window. They tell their locals, their customers who this gentleman is and why. Brendan Looney for a long time, John O'Leary, and now Matt Reese.
Well, the reason that you got nominated, if you will, or mentioned, was your T-shirt initiative that you did when COVID happened. And let's face it, when COVID came around on March 16th or 20th, whatever the exact date was, and the word came down from the governor that all businesses needed to shut down. The restaurants made a collective, what are we going to be able to do? Blk Ankr, I'm going to say, making T-shirts and graphic designs is probably not an essential business per se, but you really stepped up to the plate and you created a design for how many restaurants were there?
Let me backtrack real quick first and say thank you for having me, and thank you for Lila and Kurt for nominating me for this honor. I was completely blown away when she commented or contacted me and said, we would like to honor you in this way. And I said, I'm not really sure why, but if that's what you feel strongly about, then I'll accept it. So, yeah, we worked with just under 100 businesses by the time we kind of closed out the program. It started out with just a very small handful of companies, and it just literally blew up to something that we were never expecting it to be. So we were honored. We were excited. It was a little bit of self-preservation kind of led to the program. Certainly, as all companies were being told in the state of Maryland that you kind of had to stay home, I stayed home for a few days and we're like, what do I do? As you pointed out, it's like, am I essential? I certainly always felt like I'm essential. I'm essential to my family who relies on me. Am I essential as a worker? I won't tell you who told me this, but somebody did tell me, somebody that's in the state government told me that, well, do you print for police and fire departments? I was like, on occasion. She said, well, hey, then you're essential. The other nice thing is my business is primarily family. I have 2 children that work for me, and I had 2 other part-time people at the time. And so I was able to I did close my doors temporarily and sat and thought, like, okay, what do I do? As all of the business that was currently waiting on me was quickly shutting down, I had to think about what to do. And honestly, I borrowed the idea from another screen printing business out of Canada, of all places, that had come up with this program.
Canada's so nice to people. They're so polite up there. They give away
Well, there was another screen printer, and as I'm sitting at home looking through, different screen printing forums and things online, just seeing what everybody else is doing in the middle of this pandemic as everybody's shutting down. And someone had a great idea to print T-shirts for local businesses, basically provide a portion of that to the business, and then a portion goes to the screen printer in order to operate. And it just seemed like a really nice and simple idea. And I'm like, well, hey, I know a lot of local businesses. They're my customers, they're my friends. And if I can get a couple of them on board, it'll at least keep me busy for a few minutes. Just spotted somebody walking in with the hero shirt right there. So that's always fun to see. It'll keep me busy. It'll help generate some income for them. So it started out, as you mentioned, restaurants who were closing their doors and didn't have really income until they kind of sorted through some of the carry-out type of business. Good friends with Frankie Orange at Orange Tattoo on West Street, and they completely closed their doors. They have no way to generate income. I had some hair salons, things like that were shut down. And so this was like not really anything that was going to really make them a lot of money, but if it was going to help pay their bills in the meantime, I figured, why not? We'll give it a shot. So the program that I kind of borrowed, I did contact the person who I saw had the program and said, hey, do you mind if I borrow this idea and do it locally in my own town? And he said, absolutely, do whatever you want. And so I made a few tweaks to it, and I came up with the tagline, Stronger Together. He was using something pandemic related, and I just felt like it seemed fearful, and it kind of seemed negative, and I wanted to come up with something that was positive. I thought, if this thing does work out, it can be something positive for those that are involved. So I came up with Stronger Together because it's kind of the way I felt at the moment. And honestly, I had no idea it was going to become what it was. It started with 5 or 6 local companies, and then Another company, as they were promoting it, would contact me. It went from me contacting customers saying, do you want to be part of this? To people contacting me saying, how do I become part of this? And then Aaron, who I always going to butcher his last name, but people know him as Scribe, who's a local musician and artist. He and I had worked together on several projects in the past, including the Press on Annapolis project. So he reached out to me and he said, hey, I think the story needs to be told. I'm going to contact somebody at the Capitol and also a local television station. I think somebody needs to tell your story. And I think it's going to help a lot of people. So I was like, okay, fine. So the Capitol ran an article, and then after that, it was on the front page of the Capitol. And emails, phone calls, everything just started coming in. So it went way beyond what I had anticipated. And it pretty much was 100% of our business for probably 3 or 4 months, to the point where we eventually kind of had to kind of peel back. Some of the sales were slowing down, but at the end there, we were working with just under 100 local businesses, and there were a few outside the state, but most of them were local.
That was the name of the game early on, and this was sort of keeping the lights on. If the money raised out of that can go to Dave BG&E off for another month, that would be a good thing. And it really did help everything. And I mean, certainly thank you to Canada, and certainly thank you to you. For the idea, because I mean, as you said, 100 people. How many shirts did you ultimately print? Do you have any idea about?
It was over 3,000.
Holy mackerel!
There was just under 100 businesses. Some businesses got in late, didn't really promote it as well, and maybe only sold 3 or 4 shirts. But we were willing to print whatever they sold. Some businesses like Heroes Pub did a great job. They have a great following, and they sold a ton of shirts. And there was other. It was interesting. There was a lot of restaurants, for sure. There were bands and musicians because, again, gig workers were out of work because the restaurants where they play were out of work. At least one tattoo shop, a bunch of hair salons, things like that really were kind of slow to reopen because of the health concerns. So hopefully we kept people going. I know I heard from a lot of business owners that they were trying to share that money with the employees that were really hurt because they weren't picking up hours, they weren't picking up tips, they weren't, so their income was severely hindered. So I don't know. And obviously, like I said, it helped me keep my business open because that's all we did for probably close to 4 months, because the business from schools and the business from other businesses that were driven by events. A lot of what we do, the shirts, a lot of what we print are event driven, and when events shut down, there's nobody needing to buy shirts. So this kind of gave us something to do as well.
Right. Well, I'll tell you, that sort of gives you an idea that the heroes are not necessarily the ones that are wearing combat boots. And we do encourage everybody to submit your hero story. Who's a hero in your life? You can go to militarybowl.org/budheroes, and there is a form that you can do that. And you can do that in person as well. And there's a number of local establishments that will be having Budweiser specials throughout I guess we're a Military Bowl season now, aren't we, Josh?
Tis the season. I said it this morning in our sales meeting. It is here, and we are moving forward. I can't wait.
Coming up on November 20th, you've got the Dark Horse from noon to 3. They're going to have, what's the turkey shoot?
A turkey shoot. This is their second annual turkey shoot. Actually, proceeds going to Patriot Point, which is a Military Bowl nonprofit, as well as the Anne Arundel County Food Bank. So they'll be collecting food as well. And then we have Acme tomorrow. Acme will be featuring $1 buds as well. And then we have Armadillos, Annapolis Smokehouse, Boatyard, and McGarvey's also all participating.
Right. And we'll have those up on eyeonannapolis.net as far as the specials go. And you can follow us on social media, both at Katcef Military Bowl or All Annapolis, to figure out where to go. But these places that are helping out are also really supportive of the Military Bowl, supportive of the community and the Who's Your Hero program. So, and you should be able to enter any of them at any time. It doesn't need to be in just those times. They will have the little forms to do that as well. So you can fill out an index card and do it old school, or you can go online and do it. But some of the stories that we've heard year after year have just been really heart-tugging.
Heartwarming.
Heart-tugging, warming. They do everything with your heart. And it's an amazing program. And the deal is,
is that if you are selected as one of the heroes, there's a great big prize pack, including tickets to the Military Bowl in great seats. I hear they're going to let you toss the coin and fly the helicopter and jump out of the plane this year, too.
I'm not sure Josh has that authority, but I'll let him speak to that.
But no, there will be tickets to the game. You will have post-game field access. You'll have a ride in the Military Bowl parade. And I think there's probably some swag from Budweiser and Katcef Brothers as well that falls into place there as well. So it's a really great opportunity for you to honor your hero. So you and your hero could do that.
No, the Who's Your Hero program, and Cassie's, I mean, we can't say enough about it. I mean, every year when you read the nominations, you know, it's hard to limit it to just 5 people, because you read the stories, you're like, oh my God, this person is incredible, and oh my gosh, that person is incredible, and it just keeps going down. And
I almost do an eeny, meeny, miny, mo scenario where I have stacks of stories, and I'm sitting in my office reading these, halfway crying for probably most of them.
Do you go through?
It makes you feel good,
and it's a variety. It's the nurse at the hospital. It's the fireman. It is the brother. It's the cat too. Let's be real. Like so many people have different stories, and it really is hard.
And we do have up at militarybowl.org/Bud Heroes. You do have some of the prior stories that are there, so you can get an idea if you think. Personally for me, my father served in World War II. He passed away a couple years ago, and that's my own personal hero. Unfortunately, I was not able to. He was able to give me the stories toward the end of his life, so I didn't get the full gist of what it was. And I remember I had a conversation with one of the Medal of Honor recipients at the Military Bowl, Woody, who he was funny. We were talking about his service in World War II, and he was the oldest living Medal of Honor recipient. Okay, what are we shaking our heads for?
Oh no, Woody is an absolutely incredible.
So Woody Williams, who I believe is now 98 years old,
which is unreal, amazing.
Served in the Army. He was. Marines. Woody is amazing. So, one of the things I do at the bowl is we invite all the living Medal of Honor recipients to attend the bowl. We handle all their travel and their stay, and we just want them to come to the game and enjoy themselves. And we usually have about 10 to 12 recipients who come, and there's probably 3, 4, 5 who come every year, and then some guys will come one year, And so I reached out to Woody and Woody's nephew, Brent Casey, who goes everywhere with Woody. Woody, to this day, still keeps up an incredible travel schedule, raising money, and he's just amazing. And so I called Brent and I said, how's it looking? Are you and Woody coming up? And when they come, it's a family reunion. I mean, they're like 10 members of the family. They come up, and they have hold their own court at the Westin. And he says it's not gonna happen this year. Woody was, I forget what he was doing. He fell, broke some ribs, been in the hospital for 2 weeks, and he's finally getting out. But if you've seen Woody, if you've seen pictures of him, if you met him, you'd know Woody's a battler. Woody tried to serve, and they said, no, you're not old enough, you're not big enough, and he kept coming back, and finally worked his way in. And Woody's just an amazing person.
No, he was. When we were talking about my father, it was funny. He said, "Oh, well, what did he serve?" And I said, "He's a Marine." He goes, "Oh, thank God! I thought you were going to tell me Army." It was like old Marines, man. It's embedded in them. But going back into the military, the Medal of Honor recipients are going to be back again. We just probably don't know who at this point. We're still a little bit early.
Yeah, I think we have commitments from 7 guys so far. And it's always wonderful to see them. And their stories are amazing. They never. You just shake your head and you're like, oh my gosh.
Well, how does a human do what these guys have done to?
When Buddy spoke, I was at the Military Bowl luncheon. It takes your breath away. It absolutely takes your breath away. Listening to him tell the story is fascinating.
Yeah. Well, Josh, let's talk about the game day. And it is, I mean, the parade is a big thing, the game is a big thing, but there's so much other, events and circumstances that surround it. What all is planned?
So the teams will come in on the 22nd or 23rd, and they'll stay in Washington. They'll practice locally, and we kind of expect most fans to arrive on the 26th. With Christmas being on Saturday, we figure most fans will arrive on 26th, and there'll be events in Annapolis on the 26th. There's the Miracle on Annapolis Street with the world famous Budweiser Clydesdales. They always go together. Those 4 words: world famous Budweiser Clydesdales. But there'll also be a scavenger hunt and a bar crawl in downtown Annapolis on Sunday. And then Monday, things kick off at the stadium with the tailgate I think the tailgate starts at 9 o'clock this year. So, the tailgate starts at 9, and that has all sorts of different displays. A lot of the military recruiting commands come out, and they'll bring their vehicles or different things to use to gather people's attention. The Budweiser Build-A-Bars will be there, I believe, with lots of Budweiser products. And the Clydesdales will end up there after they walk in the parade. The parade will kick off at 10 o'clock. It'll go up Main Street and then around the circle out west. And then we'll wind its way back down Rail Boulevard to the stadium. And that finishes around 11:30 or so. Kickoff's at 2:30, so a few hours there for everybody to tailgate, have some fun. Cassie and I spoke. We ordered up 75 degrees and sunny this year. It's going to be beautiful.
It's not bad. Not bad. Good to hear. But and if you've never seen a military bowl here in Annapolis, I do encourage. Tickets are on sale right now. militarybowl.org is where you can get them. But I mean, the pomp and circumstance that goes with it. I mean, the halftime performances, just from the Star Spangled Banner to kick off the game to the parachuters to and I'm sure everything is somewhat starting to gel with any event.
Game day's coming together. So we announced yesterday there's a quartet of service members called Voices of Service. They'll be singing the national anthem. They were on America's Got Talent. For those who watch TV, Cassie saw them.
I do love America's Got Talent.
So they'll be singing the national anthem. Team Fast Tracks and its parachute jumpers will be back. They'll be jumping out of the sky before the game. I just watched them come in, and I just hope nobody comes in too hot. Occasionally they come in really hard to the ground. It's like, oh my gosh. We'll have the full field American flag as usual. We'll do an enlistment ceremony with all the different branches during
the Space Force this year.
Space Force is included. Yes, they'll be there. We're looking forward to it. Everything's really coming together. Now we just need to figure out what 2 teams we're going to have and have a great day.
Right, on December 27th, at what time during the day do you personally breathe that big sigh of relief? Is it when the parade steps off or when the kickoff?
When he has a Bud Light Lime.
2:30 kickoff. It'll be around 5:45. We'll be done 7-ish, 7:30 with media.
So that's when you breathe?
That's when you breathe and you look back and you kind of replay the day and what went well and what we can do better on.
And when do you start for 2022?
Already. I mean, we're already making lists of what we've done so far and what we think we could do better next year.
This is just such a fabulous time in Annapolis. I mean, there's so many things that are going on surrounding the holidays. Starts actually a little bit later on this month with you've got the Grand Illumination and you've got the Midnight Madnesses and everything else that goes along with that. But then you've got the holidays that are on the calendars. And then certainly the Military Bowl is kicking off here at Heroes Pub with Who's Your Hero. And you want to get in on that. Make sure you go to militarybowl.org. That's the main site for your tickets, for information on the game. You can buy parking and everything else as well there. And go to militarybowl.org/budheroes to submit your hero. And there are so many people that do such good stuff, whether it's, that you just don't realize, and they do deserve to be recognized. And this is a great opportunity to be able to do that. And you want to make sure you keep track of what's going on surrounding the Military Bowl. I know that in the past we've had pub crawls and everything
everything else that's happened. So there's a lot of pomp and circumstance that goes on right after Christmas as the Military Bowl rolls into town. You're going to see the two teams that are unknown at this point. And you want to make sure you visit Annapolis.org. That will give you all of the information that's headed around town all year long. If you need to find hotels, that's a good place to start there, different events that are happening. And certainly as a sponsor of the Military Bowl, you've got a lot of information on the Military Bowl as well.
And if anybody wants to stop by the 26 West Street Visitor Center, we'll have people there to help point you in the direction of anything you're looking for, whether it be the stadium or a restaurant or a hotel or whatever. We're there to help.
And keep an eye out for your new fancy trailer, your little mobile trailer.
Oh my gosh,
cool.
The Arundel Ambassador, 20-foot trailer. You won't miss her.
They don't serve beer out of it, though, do you? Not yet?
We're not competing.
We're not competing?
That's so exciting.
Again, I want to thank you very much for joining us, Susan. And Josh, thank you again for coming back again this year. And thank you for bringing the Military Bowl back. You and your team just do a great job on it. It's such a festive day. It's such a festive season to do it. Budweiser, a great sponsor of the Military Bowl as well, and great partner. And Matt, man, what can I say? Thanks for doing what you always do, but and just making such a difference in the lives of 100 plus restaurants and businesses in Annapolis, arguably in the worst time of their business life. And keeping you probably kept food on the table for many people, which is heroic.
Well, thank you. I don't always look at it that way, but I appreciate the sentiment. It's really great to hear. Thank you.
This Annapolis Boneless podcast has been brought to you by Katcef Brothers, the area's largest beer distributor. Please check them out at thegreatestbeers.com. Oh, and don't forget to check out Annapolis.net for all your local news, opinions, and events.